Hey, it's Spence from LaunchFlows with a new way to do instant registration using the free pattern library. This is inspired by one of our friends and clients and colleagues over here in the community, Kerry Krieger, who is a big fan and uses LaunchFlows across several of his businesses. He was saying, Spence, I love the fact that the instant registration feature allows me to do a simple form to onboard somebody right through a WooCommerce checkout. And it doesn't send them an email, it doesn't give them a receipt, it just gets them in instead of using another product. But he wanted to customize it because all of his brands have very specific colors and other things. So he wanted a faster way to do that. And I'm going to show you here how to do this one click simple. First of all, when you go to our patterns.launchflows.com, we are building a library. And this is just the start, like tippy-toeing in, of free things. You can just see the example, see the video, click, copy, paste, and be done. So here I've created a customizable pattern that has everything you need so that you can actually set it up without worrying about doing the instant registration option, but still get somebody registered. Here's what it looks like. If you were to go to this example page where it's a live demo, you could actually register using this process. So what we've done is created a full checkout page that always has the registration product in it. But because we're using the Gutenberg blocks, we're able to essentially hide the stuff that we don't want somebody to see, show the stuff we do, and still be able to actually do cool stuff. Like, for example, further customize this with other imagery or whatever we want. But when you're ready to use it, you simply copy the pattern code, and then you go over to your website. I'll just do it here for the sake of argument, and you can paste it in. So in other words, if you're using Gutenberg, there's literally nothing for you to do except copy, paste, and you've got all the components you need. Now let me go through what the components are. When you're using LaunchFlows, you can make any product or any page into a checkout. And since WooCommerce has the ability to allow somebody to register and be logged in automatically, those two things together mean we don't need to worry about having a separate form or a separate plugin to get somebody into our site when we want to just basically start marketing and tracking marketing to them and tracking them. So here on this page, I would create a checkout by using the LaunchFlows feature that says add a checkout to this post. Now, in order to make sure that they see only the things I want, I'm also using the pattern capability of LaunchFlows. So if we notice this design, at the very bottom, I've got I'm going to call it a row because I'm using the cadence blocks, but it could be called a section if you wish. Inside of here, I have the things that I want to be functional, but not visible. And so I've taken the row layout and I put in here using the pattern capability of LaunchFlows. I just went patterns, chose LaunchFlows, and I dropped all this stuff in here. You don't even have to do that because I'm giving you this ready to use version. I put in here the always in product widget and I use the ID of my free registration product. I put in the shipping and additional fields because I don't want them seen. Order, review, coupon payment, I don't want those seen. I added a snippet at the bottom that is just a little boost for you because you don't need to know CSS that will hide the normal billing fields title. Because when I go above that box, you'll notice the following. I added a headline, which I can change to say anything I want. I did put the billing fields in there because that's what's used to display the first name, last name, email. I used a feature of LaunchFlows called the checkout button replacement or replace checkout button. And what that does is it allows you to add two components. First of all, the component or shortcode that will hide and disable the normal WooCommerce Pay Now button or Checkout Now button. And then instead, I added a new button using Gutenberg. And all I have to do is design it, put the words on it, and make sure that it has the HTML anchor of LF-checkout button. Now again, you don't have to do this because I've done it for you. You can just come in and start styling this and moving it around. Now, I've also added the notifications and the login components because in the event somebody makes a mistake, we need them to see the notices. And if they've already used an email, we want them to see that, hey, there's a link that says you can log in. But here's the cool thing. Because this is now up to you, you can just go in here and monkey around. Let's say insert before. I can add, let's just go ahead and type in row. And I'm going to add in, for example, 2-column layout. And I can put in some cool images if I want. And style this in any way that I see fit for my registration, but still keep it super simple. So let me just show you as an example what I'll put it on. This may be a little tall. I'll put in this. And I think that is a little tall, but the neat thing is, again, because it's Gutenberg, we can always make it smaller and so forth. And maybe I'll just put something in here that's a headline. You know, it's easy, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the cool part about it. The actual layout is up to you. You start with what I've given you, and it will function to do exactly what you needed to do, which is to register and log somebody in and direct them wherever that product was set up to take them. Let me show you how that works. If I go in the back end, the product I set up was a free product. And it was called, in this case, instant registration. And you only need two things. You need, number one, to make it free. And it should be virtual, probably downloadable too, but free and virtual. And then in LaunchFlows, you set it up to say, where is the location of the checkout page where I want this thing to be sold? And that has to match up with whatever page you're showing it on, because otherwise when it's added to the cart, it will take the person somewhere else. Now you'll notice here, I did not use the instant registration option. Why? Because that would only give me this really nice, clean, simple, plain output. And I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying to customize it. But because you can now copy and paste this, you don't have to worry about a lot of the hard stuff. Just go to the patterns library, click, copy that pattern, paste it into your setup, and just be sure that you at a minimum change the product number from that 741 that I'm using to whatever the product ID is of your free registration product. And you will find that either in the URL above, or you will find that if you go to the product tab on the right side, you will find it in the LaunchFlows checkout link at the very end. There's the number there, 741. And that's it. So this is the basis of something we're really going to be leaning into now with LaunchFlows. The pattern library has thus far been just a mechanical way to save you a ton of time. And even though I love the fact that people are using it with all their own page builders, just using Gutenberg patterns means I can give you the full solution ready to consume for free, and then you can start using it along with the other ones in the pattern library. I think that there's going to be some other artistic designer folks who are going to contribute as well and show how you can even further start out with really gorgeous designs. But in case you're wondering, even if you start out with the basic wireframe of this, just use your theme styling to add all the other components you want, right? Because it's Gutenberg blocks, you can mix and match and add them all in real time and see the output on that page. So you can get as clever or as graphical as you want. The mechanics stay the same. This is Spence. I'll see you on the next video.